Boom, it's on. All right, cool. Hold on, what's on the board? How much is on the board? I can go all the way to here. All the way to here. And all. All right. Okay. That's all on the screen. Boom. All right, so what are we talking about? What's that word on the board? 10 dots backwards. All right. So when we evaluate an equation, right, we are, or not even an equation, when we're evaluating a set of numbers, we follow the order of operations. When we are solving an equation, we need to undo those operations. Okay? The order in which you undo the operations is the opposite of when you perform the order of operations. So that's why I like to put this on the board to help us figure out what are we going to do first. Okay? So as an example, we did a problem yesterday. Actually, we did a couple mental problems, right? Where we had like one-step equations and we mentally figured out what the answer was, right? And then I think maybe I put one up that had a couple more steps. So like the directions, solve for, now we always use X, so I'm going to do a different one. Let's do Y. Oh, that's Nina. Nina, okay. Yeah, I was like, who's back there? Okay. So solve for Y, I'm going to use Y. I don't know why they always use X. We leave the other letters out. I know why they don't use T. T looks like a plus sign. S looks like a 5. But X looks like multiplication, doesn't it? Yeah, all right, whatever. Number 1, solve for Y. 2Y minus 6 equals 10. Okay? So before we start undoing operations, let's talk about the operations that are currently being performed on Y. What are we doing to Y? Isabella? Multiplying it by 2. Okay, so one thing we're doing to Y is multiplying it by 2. What's the other thing we're doing to Y? Hannah? We're also subtracting 6. So we need to undo those two operations. We got to undo the multiplying by 2. We have to undo the subtracting by 6. Well, which one are we going to do first? We're going to add or subtract first. What's the opposite of subtracting 6? Haley? Adding 6, right? That's called the inverse operation. Okay? Subtraction is the inverse operation of addition. Addition is the inverse operation of subtraction. So if we're subtracting 6, to undo it, we're going to add 6. Let's use a different color for my work. Now, in order to keep an equation balanced, whatever we do on one side of the equal sign, we also have to do on the other side of the equal sign. So we're adding 6 to both sides. On the left side, now we've got a 2y. On the right side, 10 minus 6 is, what did I do wrong? The inverse operation is not subtracting, it's adding. We need to add 6 to both sides. 10 plus 6 is 16. That's why I saw a hand go up right away, right? Like, wait, what are you talking about, Mr. Sokolowski? You're subtracting. The opposite is to add. So you add 6 to both sides. Haley, got a question? Okay, so now we're multiplying y by 2. The next thing we can get rid of is that. We're going to multiply or divide to the other side. This is 2 times y. To get rid of it, the opposite of multiplication is division. We're going to divide both sides by 2. Y equals 8. Okay? All right. Number 2. All right, same first question. Not how to solve it, but what are we currently doing to the variable? What are the operations happening now that we're going to undo? Sebastian, what are we subtracting? We're subtracting 3?
Yeah, on both sides.
That's how we're going to solve it, right? So to solve it, we're going to subtract 3 from both sides, because currently the sign in front of 3 is positive. Right now we're adding this 3. The other way to write this equation is like this. Negative y plus 3 equals negative 7. That's the other way to write this. Switch those around. We're adding 3 currently. So to undo that, you're going to subtract 3. So that's what Sebastian said. Minus 3, minus 3. Love when the marker starts running out. Makes that awesome noise. Yeah. Like, this is the other way that you can write it, right here. Right there, see? All right, so we're going to subtract 3 from both sides. Left. Now we're left with the negative y. Don't forget the negative sign. We still have that negative sign there. And on the right, we've got a negative 10. Are we done? That's the answer?
No.
Okay. Our goal when we're solving an equation like this is to isolate the variable. That means get the variable by itself. Once the variable is by itself, then that's the solution to our equation. You can take 8, plug it back in, makes it a true statement. We haven't isolated the variable yet. There's still a negative sign in front of it. What number's in front of the y? What are we multiplying y by? Brandon?
1.
Not just 1, but
Negative
1. We're multiplying by negative 1, right? There is a 1 in front of that. So to get rid of it, we're going to divide by negative 1. Divide both sides by negative 1. Y equals 10. Okay?
Yes.
All right. So again, I follow this. We added or subtracted something to the other side first. Got this. Then I multiplied or divided something. Okay? All right. Number 3. Same first question. What are we currently doing to... We're supposed to be doing y, right? I'm in the habit of always writing an x. What are we currently doing to y? Armand.
Isolating the variable.
I know, but what is this? What operation is going on here? What is all this junk? Okay, there's division going on. What else?
So we have to do multiplication.
So, okay. What would you multiply by?
2/3.
Right now, we're multiplying by 2/3. Right? So, if we're multiplying by 2/3, how do you undo that? Well, isn't that just multiplication? Isn't that what Armand's saying? Is dividing by a fraction the same thing as multiplying? Hannah?
We need to multiply both sides by 3 halves.
By 3 halves. When you divide fractions, it's multiplying by the reciprocal, right? Remember when we did fractions? Our favorite unit of the year? We did fractions. That's why we started out with fractions. Okay, because dividing by a fraction is the same thing as multiplying by the reciprocal. We want to divide both sides by 2/3. Well, dividing by 2/3 is the same thing as multiplying by 3 halves. 3/2. If we're going to multiply the left side by 3/2, then multiply the right side by 3/2. Do the same thing on both sides. Now, the reason we did it on the left is so it's gone. Bye-bye. They're gone. We just have our y on the left. And this is the other thing we did with fractions. -4 over 1. We multiplied fractions. Multiply straight across. -4 times 3 is -12. 1 times 2 is 2. -12 divided by 2 is -6. All right, I'm going to put 2 more on the board, and then I'm going to have you. We're going to do them together, and then you're going to do a few on your own, and then we're going to come back and go over them and do a couple of ones. Okay, you ready? Yeah. Number 4 and number 5. You don't do anything yet. I'm going to write number 4. Hold on, am I in the board? Yeah. I'm going to write them on the board, and then I want to talk about how they're the same, but also about how they're different. All right?
It's Y.
Oh yeah, we're still solving for y. Thank you. I'm going to change this right here to a -2. Sorry. Okay, make sure you copy that down right. Am I in the screen over there? Okay. Cool. All right. Copying down. Take a second. All right, what's the difference between the two problems? Well, first, what's the same? Sebastian, what's the same?
They both have Y's and they both have fractions.
They both have y's, there's both fractions, and I also use pretty much the same numbers. But what's different? What's the difference between those two? Come on, some new volunteers, people. We have the same kind of people volunteering. Eileen?
It's a y minus 3 with a fraction of 4.
Okay, so this entire thing is in a fraction. It's one big fraction. This was a separate fraction. This whole y minus 3 is in the numerator here. Over here, these are separate. Okay? Do you remember what we talked about when we did order of operations, when we have a big fraction bar? Remember, in order of operations, you do the entire numerator like it's stuck in parentheses. Then you do the entire denominator. Well, if the entire numerator is stuck in parentheses, we can't take care of that until the end. Parentheses is the last thing we do. Haley, what's up? Oh, not yet? You're going to tell us what to do first? No? Your hand was in here. For like an hour. Okay. All right. Well, I'll come back to you if you want to ask, okay? So it's like the entire numerator the entire numerator stuck in parentheses. So what's the first thing we need to do here? Can we add or subtract anything to the other side?
Yes.
I can't. It's stuck in parentheses. I can't add 3 to the other side. It's stuck in the parentheses. It's stuck in the numerator. So now we go to the next one. Can we multiply or divide?
Yeah.
What can we multiply or divide?
We can multiply by 4.
Okay, we're dividing by 4. We're dividing this entire thing by 4 so we can undo it by multiplying by 4. If you multiply the left side by 4, multiply the right side by 4. So when the problem looks like this, the first thing you're doing is multiplying both sides of the equation. So now we're left with the y minus 3, and on the right, we've got a -8. -2 times 4 is -8. Now we've got one step. It's y minus 3. How do you undo minus 3?
Add 3.
Brandon, yep, add 3. Plus 3, plus 3. Y equals, when the signs are different, you subtract. 8 minus 3 is 5. The negative number was larger, -5. All right. Now, number 5 is just like number 2. We got a number and a variable together over there. We're subtracting 3. Can we add or subtract anything to the other side?
Add 3.
Yeah, gonna add 3. Okay? In this problem, we're subtracting 3. We can add it to the other side. Add 3 to both sides. So now we have y over 4 equals negative 2 plus 3 is 1. Sebastian, what's up?
And then you can make it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Now you can multiply 4.
Yeah, now we multiply by 4. Over here we didn't do that order, right? Over here we multiplied by 4 first, and then added 3. In this problem, we're adding the 3 first, and now we're multiplying by 4, and 4 is our answer. Okay? All right, I'm going to give you 3 problems to practice. The third one's going to be a little bit different than what you've seen. All right? So 3 problems. I'm going to change the directions for x because I like writing x's because I'm in a habit of writing x's. So number 1. All right, so I want you to work on those 3 problems. I'll walk around and help people out. Copy those down.